Landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess. And to quote the late, great Socrates, I drink what now? But for the last week, I've been carrying the Rocktall ST02 multi-tool. And I know you've seen Rocktall on the channel a couple of times now. And no, they are not sending me these things to check out. They are not affiliated with the channel in any way right now. Get at me, Rocktall. I'd love to work with you. But I've been looking on Amazon, and these have been showing up as the best value for money and the most quality-looking pieces, especially in the price range they're in. And this is no exception. So I got mine on sale, and they have been kind of hovering at about $19.95 for a while now. But every so often they come up, and like right now, at the time of recording this, they got an extra 20% off, which brings the price down to $16.95, which is what I paid for this thing. I'm going to link off to this in the comments, or the description, in case you want to get one yourself, which I think you will. So let's get into it and take a look at what we're holding, because it'll bother you if I don't. And first things first, and most importantly, the pocket clip is tip up, which is the Lord's carry. Bet you didn't think I was going to say that, but I surprised you. And let's take a look at our tools. So, of course, we have the plain edge right here, which I believe is 7CR17 at a hair under 3 inches. We have got our large jumbo scissors, and these things lock open, and they are large scissors, especially for a multi-tool. We have got our bit driver right here, and of course we got our bit, flat and Phillips. We have got on this end, on the dingus end, we have got our, I guess, all scribe, I'm not sure what to call this thing. We got another flat bit for larger flathead screws and some prying work. We've got a very, very fine flat bit, which I guess is for tiny screws. And then we got our can and bottle opener, and that's your lot. And of course, the nice thing is the tools on the dingus end right here lock open with the wave style lock, and that is your lot for the tools. So this thing got carried in the waistband because, of course, in my pocket I had the knife of the week, and you know what? It did okay in the waistband. I was kind of worried, as thick as this is, she thick, boy, that it was going to provide some issues with pressing into the side of my hip, and it did press a good little bit. A lot of times it would go in and kind of cock itself diagonally and take up less space, but there are times where it would roll back wideways and press quite a bit, which, you know, for me, that is a self-inflicted issue. Keeping it right there, knowing that was going to be an issue, was entirely self-inflicted, so I can't really knock this thing too hard for it. But, you know, it's worth noting that that happened. Now, you could carry this in your pocket clipped in easily enough with no major issues, unless your pants are so tight they're cutting off circulation to your legs, which I don't think that's the style with the youth anymore. But I'm not up to date on current trends. As of right now, I'm fairly sure kids mostly like fish sticks and turtleneck sweaters. I'm pretty sure that's what the kids like today. So, you know, this thing could be a good daily driver, like daily driver, all-purpose carry. You know, like your blade right here is definitely long enough. It locks open. It does all the things really well. Let's take a look at the edge, and let me fail at cutting some paper real quick, because of course the last couple weeks hasn't been kind to me, but it's got, oh, you guys. Yeah, I mean, it's got a working edge on it. Of course it could do with a sharpening, but, you know, it's got an edge that does do work. If memory serves, on the last tool that had the same blade on it, I did a few cuts. They did all right. I think I may do a cardboard slayer session with this one, because it is definitely more of a knife handle shape, and see how it handles long-term heavy use. You know, we're probably going to do that just to really get a feel for it. And of course, the jumbo scissors, those wound up being quite handy. You know, there were some things like, you know, I'll get hangnails and stuff like that, and pieces of cuticle that stand up, and they drive me insane when they happen. I was actually able to get in there and take care of it with this. It did some nice, really fine work. Cannot complain about that there. And of course, the scissors are, you know, again, they're more useful to have than you'd expect. And it's always a good idea to have some kind of scissors on you if you can carry them. Just because, you know, there are times where you do need to cut some smaller stuff, and these things work really, really well. You know, for multi-tool scissors, they do quite well. They are quite competent. You know, I definitely like how large they are. You know, they definitely validate their existence quite nicely. The bit driver, I did get some use out of that. There were some small things that needed repairing at work. And of course, when I'm carrying a multi-tool, it is, give me something to fix. Give me something to fix. You know, and after, I think it's now 4 weeks in a row of carrying multi-tools, I am running so low on small things that need to be fixed at work. There were a couple of things that I wanted to fix, but they really needed pliers more so than a bit driver. So, this won't serve trial as pliers. It won't. And of course, the small tools, I didn't get a lot of use out of these just because they're much more specialized. And of course, like I never have cans and/or bottles to open like this the hard way. I probably need to start doing that and just seeing how well these can openers work at home, which that may be added to the repertoire to see how those do. But I mean, this thing, it carried well enough considering I carried it in kind of a very wrong way. Everything that I used worked well enough. My only real major gripe, honestly, is that the bit driver doesn't lock open. But with its placement here, there's not really a good way to install a lock, I don't think, and still have it work right. I could be wrong. There might have been a way to install a lock, which would have been nice, but that also might have bumped the cost up a little bit, so that's definitely worth noting. But it still did okay. Now, when I got in there and I was on a funky angle trying to screw something and having to work around a bunch of stuff piled up around it, it did try to fold up on me, but I was able to back off of that and straighten it back out and change what I was doing, and it wound up not being an issue. This thing doesn't it doesn't have like half of the handle hanging off the side. Your pressure is pretty much a straight line into the thing that you're running the bit down, so it's not too shabby. It works well, and this is absolutely going in the truck. After this is over with, I'm throwing it in there with one of my extra Ozark Trail dropouts, and that way I've got a small kit in there just to make myself feel better and in case I need something. Again, this is something very handy to throw in the toolbox in the car. Like, it's really solid. Everything on it does really well. So, I think personally for $19.99 it's still very, very worthwhile, but for $16.95, oh, baby, yes. This is one of those things where you definitely want to grab one. You want to grab one while they're on sale, in my opinion. And, of course, like, I haven't carried a Swiss Army knife in ages. I don't have any of the Victorinox Swiss Army knives anymore. And, I always wanted them to be built a little beefier. And although this is not a new thing, it is new to me, and that scratches that itch very, very, very nicely and gives me pretty much exactly what I wanted. The only thing I want that's not on here is the bit driver locking open. That is the only thing. But outside of that, I mean, the bit driver's still good, but I wish to God it locked open. So, overall, this thing is really, really good. You can buy them that have better blade material on the knife and stuff like that, but the cost starts going up and your return on investment starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller pretty quickly. So, yeah, and I mean, again, these aren't sent to me by Rocktall. I gain nothing from Rocktall for doing these reviews. It's just this multi-tool right here, and the SKO2 and the STO2 both served me very, very, very well. I am extremely happy with these. Like, Rocktall might be the best value for money on Amazon right now. Of course, I've got other stuff to check out as time goes on. That being said, I don't have like the $45-50 every week to buy one of these and carry it, a new variant of this made by somebody else, so they're going to trickle in kind of slowly and a little bit irregular. However, I had to check this one out at that price, and again, I'm going to link off to it. I recommend grabbing one of these if something like this grabs your interest and grabs you by the short and curlies. I definitely enjoyed carrying it and using it. So, yeah, this thing, it's great. So that's all I can think of to say for this thing. All that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. You'll keep coming in. I appreciate you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We do have a giveaway coming up soon. We got our live streams. There's plenty of activities. Comments, I love some feedback. Let me know what you think about this thing or anything else. And all that being said, y'all have a nice day.